Hello, my name's Lisa. This is where I sew, and this is what I sew on, which is the Janome model 4400. I've tried to get as much as I can into the shop, but basically we're going to have to go with the important bits, which in this particular circumstance is the thread, how to thread it, and the bobbin, how the bobbin and the spool work together. So first things first, with any machine, when you're threading, always turn the power off because you don't want to do yourself a mischief around this area. The other thing is, always thread with the presser foot up because there are tension discs in here which close on the thread when the presser foot is down, creating the tension, and they're open to receive the thread when the presser foot is up. So don't even attempt to thread the machine with the presser foot down. Up here, it's the business end. The spool of thread, you should always run the thread this direction. So it just means that the thread comes off smoothly, feeds off smoothly. These spindles on this particular model go up and down for sake of transport, and it's got a handle here. It's not a very heavy machine, but you can move it around if needs must. But they are delicate little creatures, and too much bashing around and you can dislodge something. But Janome is an excellent company. I think this is my fourth machine. It was £249. It's a very basic machine. There's fairly basic stitches on it, but I know this is going to go the distance for me. It's got a great reputation, it's sturdy, and I think it ought to last me quite some time. So it's well worth spending a few more bob on it. I know it's tempting when you see something for £99 and you think, well, I'm only beginning, but you are going to go through that fairly quickly, and it's not worth really skimping on the money. So I would advise a few extra bob, buy yourself a Janome, Viking, Benina, and they'll take you through the learning stage and into the intermediary without too much frustration. So let's start. With the thread running in that direction, you pop your spool onto your spindle. Ignore this bit. This has nothing whatsoever to do with the threading of the machine. All the machines that I've seen usually have some little arrows indicating the general direction that the thread should run. But for myself, I tend to learn better if somebody is showing me exactly what to do. So the thread goes through this first hook, comes down this side. As you can see, there's a needle helpfully directing you in to the next stage. Rotate. There's a little hand wheel at the back here that moves the shaft here up and down. So if you move it up, this arm appears. Thread runs around the back securely through there, comes back down again, hooks around this thread guide here, and then through this smaller hook shape here, and finally through the needle itself. I heard this tip somewhere, that one of the best ways to make sure that the end of your thread isn't sort of frayed is to come back, cut the thread slantways. Be careful you don't take your fingers off. So cut it on the slant. Now just give me a minute while I thread this through. This is tricky. There you go. Oh, look at that. First time lucky. Stay in. So, and then run the thread back that way towards the back. The next part of the process is the bobbin. Don't be afraid of the bobbin. Embrace the bobbin. It's about practice and confidence. So the bobbin lives in the bobbin casing down here. That comes out. There's a little lever that lifts up for the ease of removal. So take your bobbin casing out, and there's your bobbin inside. Once again, the thread should be running in the same direction. So if you've got it turned towards you, have this thread running towards you. Now with the casing, there are notches here, and this is where the thread should run through. So it makes sense that the thread is running in this direction, because if it's going that way, it's running against it, and your tension's going to be all wrong. And it's quite a simple thing to ignore and mess up, and you'll have to work back why your stitches aren't working properly. First place to check is to make sure that the thread in the bobbin is running in the right direction. So slip your bobbin in, take the thread, look for this notch here, and then the thread goes through it. Pull her across. There you go. There's your thread. The thread in the bobbin casing should look like that. This lever coordinates with a groove or a notch in this casing section here on the side of the machine. Some bobbins are top loading on some machines. In this particular case, it's side loading. The centre of the bobbin goes onto the spool there. Now line the arm up with that groove and listen. It should click in, and that means everything is where it should be. Now the next thing you have to do is have the two threads together running backwards. So with the thread of the bobbin and the bobbin casing securely placed back in the side here, the next thing you need to do is have both threads running together in the same direction. So the needle is going to come down, and the thread in the needle is going to come down, hook up this thread, and they'll both be running in the same direction. So using the hand wheel at the back, there you go. It's successfully raised the bobbin thread. You've got both together, pull them out the back. So they should be both running in the same direction. So everything is in place. Couple of things to remember. If you run into any problems where your stitches aren't running properly or something appears amiss, the first thing to do is check that everything is in place, that the thread is running smoothly through all these different parts. Equally as important through these little bits and pieces here. They all have to be in place. And again, if there's a problem with your stitches, check that your bobbin is loaded properly, or that there's enough thread on the bobbin as well. So once you've done all of that, everything back in place, ready to sew. Thanks for watching. Leave me some comments, leave me a subscribe and like. Come again soon. Bye for now.